On August 31st, 2011, the Commission on Wartime Contracting in Iraq and Afghanistan presented its final report to Congress. On February 29th, 2012, Senator Webb and I introduced S-2139, the Comprehensive Contingency Contracting Reform Act of 2012, which was based on the findings and recommendations of the Commission. Just so everyone remembers, Senator Webb and I began in 2007 when we arrived in the Senate as new freshmen working on getting a war contracting commission that could look extensively at issues of how we contract during times of war.
Madam Chair, I really commend your efforts in holding hearings like this. Our hearing yesterday, we just hear the same problems time and time again, the lack of accountability, the lack of incentives to do things in a cost-efficient manner, and when it comes to talking about protecting our personnel in very dangerous places, it seems like we're going to make the same mistakes time and time again. So this is a very timely hearing.
The majority of the provisions in the law passed last year apply only to future contingencies. Unfortunately, they don't apply to Afghanistan now, where we are continuing to hear about contracting problems. I learned just this week that the Defense Department spent millions to construct a building in Afghanistan that has never been used. This facility was built despite the fact that the forward commanders said they neither needed nor wanted this facility. These hearings, as you all are painfully aware, from my perspective, are all about making a point and holding your feet to the fire. And so my questions, some of them are going to be tough, but I did want to acknowledge at the beginning of the questioning that we are making progress. It is much better than it was in 2007 in every single one of your agencies. But I have to start with, obviously, the awkward situation that I find myself in, that having been reassured by the Defense Department over and over and over again that sustainability is always considered when we argued with them about what kind of sustainability analysis, I was reassured, we always do sustainability. Well, clearly, we have a brand new building that the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing, or even worse, the right hand ignored the left hand, which were the commanders on the ground. Let me give you an opportunity, Mr. Ginman, to explain how in the world this thing got built when the people on the ground were saying, stop, don't do this. We don't need it, and it won't be used.
So I don't have an explanation, and it's very difficult to sit here and say that, at least as it's reported, and clearly we now have a building that's not needed, and I do not know how it will be finally disposed of. Certainly in the face of being told we don't need this and then proceeding, that just doesn't make sense.
Especially when you look at the time period that passed before the contract was given. I mean, if you get a heads up in May of 2010 that the building is not needed and the contracts are not executed until the following year, it really shows a systemic issue on this. I think you probably know this without me saying it, that I'm not going to stop on this until I know who it was that failed to read the file, or who it was that said go ahead and let the contract without doing due diligence about the necessity of the building. And by the way, the sad thing here is, to most Americans, $34 million sounds like a lot of money. You know what I'm worried about? I'm worried about the people who are making these decisions. This is chump change. The more quickly we can do this, I think it's pretty important that we come up with an answer to the question, how did this happen, sooner rather than later. Because with every day that passes that we don't know the answer, it makes me very nervous that it's happening in other places.